you have business with me, be quick about it. My fairy and my next great adventure awaits. My journal. I thought I had lost it forever. Pardon my rudeness, friend. Perhaps I should have stopped after 19 flagons. Har har. Did you steal a glance at his pages, perchance? No, shame that, for this book contains, how might I say it, a record of my numerous adventures. Quite the interesting read, if I do say so myself, which I believe I just did. Har har. You've the air of adventure about you, if one still untested. But take heart, even the most accomplished adventurer, and I speak from personal experience, was once a whelp with more dreams than sense. Were there only some way for me to repay you, but of course, I have a fresh journal right here that might as well have your name on it. Why not keep a record of your own? That one day we might regale each other with stories of our deeds. With that, I shall be off for adventure. A flagon or 20 of the realm's finest ale calls me. Fare you well on your journey, and next time you find yourself at the wench, do you think that El is in fellow for his generosity? Har har. Give me this money. You now have access to the challenge log, which will serve as a record of your adventuring exploits. To open it, select logs from the main menu, followed by challenge log. Contains a list of adventuring objectives across a wide range of categories. Completing any one of these objectives will earn you rewards. Completion status is reset on a weekly basis, and it is possible to undertake the challenges repeatedly. Each unique challenge we complete counts towards the overall completion category, which yields additional rewards as you progress in level and advance in the scenario. More challenge objectives will become available, giving you the chance to garner richer bonuses. You hear about Commodore Rainer's investigation, then you'll want to board a ferry bound for Aleport. Once you arrive in Western Lenosha, though, you best pay a visit to the Hall of the Novice before you blunder into Stasha. Adventures Guild runs the hall, and the folk there will prepare you. Train you with your skills. You'll need to face the dangers undoubtedly waiting for you in Seagrad. The hall is on the way to Stasha, just north of Aleport. Head inside, and one of the seasoned adventurers will take you in hand. Best of luck to you, friend. Ferry's bound for Aleport. Are you riding with us? We don't need any stinking training. Well, we gotta go in here anyway. You must be the adventurer of whom the Yellow Jacket sent word. I hear you are to brave the depths of the Stasha Secret. The occupants of those caves are rumored to be as numerous as they are bloodthirsty. No matter what the epic tales would have you believe, strolling into such a den of savagery alone would be the height of foolishness. No, you shall need companions. And you shall need the training we here at the Hall of the Novice can provide. I strongly suggest that you study the fundamentals of group combat before continuing on your mission. The smith here oversees the training schedules. Speak with him and you can register for exercises tailored to your particular field of expertise. When you have mastered all that our masters have to teach, then it will be time to head north once more. Report to the Yellow Jacket Scout at the mouth of the Stasha Seagrat, and he will furnish you with the details of your duty. Have access to the Hall of the Novice, designed specifically for your chosen role. These solo exercises will teach you the ins and outs of party combat. You may access them at any time, either by selecting Hall of the Novice from the duty section of the main menu, or by speaking with any of the smiths found in the adventurers guilds across Eorzian. Complete these exercises to receive a set of gear that will aid you in your journey. Maybe I will do that. Greetings, I'm one of the smiths, a stoker of fires and forger of futures. As a dedicated member of the Adventurers Guild, I've been entrusted with the task of providing assistance to new adventurers. According to my records, you have yet to fully complete your training. You are under no obligation to finish the final exercise, of course, but there is much to gain and not to be lost in the attempt. Whoa. All Novice offers training exercise for party combat. On completing these exercises, you will receive brand new gear for your chosen role, as well as a brand new ring, which increases experience earned by 30% until level 30. Well, I'm almost there, so that's really not that good. Let's do for the armor. Let us proceed directly to the briefing. For this exercise, you'll be learning avoiding. An enemy often tips his hand before a big attack, and your best defense is to skip out of the way. You pass the exercise once I decide you've learned this lesson. Everything is clear. Trust, say the word when you're ready to begin. Are you prepared to commence training then? Yep. This training exercise is now underway. Watch your opponent carefully. When you see an attack coming, move out of the strike zone. Switch to a new technique that will change your state. And splendidly keep it up. Now it's my turn. I'll teach you not to ignore a ranged opponent. This concludes the exercise. Break them and receive your reward. Nicely done. Learning to avoid the obvious attacks is a skill all adventurers need. Those who insist on standing still won't long survive the concussion. And speaking of survival, perfecting each of my lessons will earn you a piece of armor to aid you in your chosen role. If you feel so inclined, repeat the same lesson with the other masters that they might reward you with equipment tailored towards their fields of expertise. Here's your prize for completing the exercise. Remember, the real prize is the lesson you've learned. Oh, there. Assist allies in defeating a target. When it comes to your place in a party, you are the sharp end of the spear. Simply put, your role is to inflict as much damage as possible while keeping your own skin intact. Such, you cannot just attack whichever enemy you please. If you strike a foe other than one controlled by your ally, then you risk becoming the target of deadly aggression. As you might have guessed, the purpose of this exercise is to teach cooperation. Your ally will hold the enemy's attention. It is your job to take it from them. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and you can move on to the next training exercise. Yeah. Give me my shoes. Attack the same foe as your ally to win the battle. Opponent will have a harder time avoiding blows from the flanks or from behind. There are also certain techniques that perform better when executed from such positions. Did you mark the sturdiness of your ally taking the enemy's hits? Coordinating efforts with a heavily armored defender will allow you to fight to your fullest. Here's your prize for completing the exercise, but remember the real prize is the lesson you learn. Defeat an occupied target. For this exercise, you'll be fighting multiple opponents. The key to victory is coordination with your comrades. Each foe will fall all of the swifter under a focused assault. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and you can move on to the next training exercise. Everything is clear, I trust. Say the word when you're ready to begin. Start the fight with the staff weaver. Such foes are often the most dangerous. Release request. Be sure to attack the same enemy as your ally. Strike the wrong foe 5 times and you fail this exercise. Coordination is the key to conquering foes swiftly and safely. Work well with your allies, and the efficacy of your armor need not be tested. Here's your prize for completing the exercise. But remember, the real prize is the lesson you've learned. Oh, it's not, it's the armor. You remember the lesson where I had you evading enemy attacks? This exercise will put that training to the test. You must needs plan your strikes around some fancy footwork. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and we can move on to the next training exercise. Attacks, we will keep an eye out for counterattacks. If yours have to be hit 5 times, we will start this exercise again from the beginning. Neatly done. Breaking off attacks to save your skin is always the wisest course. But may sometimes be frustrating dance. It's better to dodge than be sprawled into the dust. Here's your prize for completing the exercise. There we go. This exercise will teach you how to deal with enemy reinforcements. As the battle progresses, new foes will appear on the field. These sudden arrivals will target your weakest comrades, so you must be quick to eliminate them. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy and we can move on to the next training course. Keep an eye peeled for reinforcements. A fine performance of party is doomed without a source of restoration. When reinforcements threaten your healer, it's time to spring into action. Here's your prize for completing the exercise. Forgot how many of these there were. In this exercise, you will learn to manipulate the battlefield. During the battle, enemies will pour forth from the iron gate, and foes will continue to flood, and whilst the portal remains open. You must operate the lever that closes the gate, or your party will be overwhelmed. Work with your allies to defeat the enemy, and we can move on to the next training exercise. It's imperative to recognize when a battle has turned against you. Act quickly to neutralize an enemy's advantage, or be prepared to suffer through difficult fighting. Here's your prize for completing the exercise, but remember the real prize is the lesson you learned. Final exercise. You've arrived at the mountain's peak, the final exercise. As the culminate of your training, all the skills you've acquired will be put to the test. Culmination. Put your lessons into practice and you will do just fine. Say the word and you're ready to begin. Let's begin with the basics, shall we? Pay attention to the enemy's facing and stay out of harm's way. Good job, let's put it down. challenge is when it's hard, so be quick on your feet. Those two need to be retrained because they're just standing in the corner. You've proven yourself a novice no longer. Pray accept this prize to commemorate your achievement. See, you've mastered the lessons of the hall. Henceforth, you are a novice no longer. Believe me, my friend, there is no greater thrill than striving alongside like-minded companions to overcome the deadliest of challenges. May the wisdom you gain in the Hall of Novice serve you well in your adventures. Please tell me you're here on Yellow Jacket duty and not some daft sod out on a stroll. Can't take any more of this blasted waiting. You are, thank to God. So I assume you already know about the ship seen slipping around the Isles of Umbra. We've been on the lookout for pirate activity ever since that vessel was sighted, thinking a crew of cutthroats might have the den nearby. So when we received word that men of questionable quality have been seen passing in and out of Sestasha here, we weren't entirely surprised. I've yet to see them for myself, but if this lot belongs to those fishback fancying serpent reavers, well, you can imagine the panic it'll cause. The kidnappings are still fresh in people's minds. Anyway, your task is to poke around in the caves and find out exactly who we're dealing with. While you do that, I'll be keeping watch out here, praying you don't spot any blue-faced tattoos. Security calls the dungeon beckons. Enlist the aid of allied players and NPCs alike to slay monsters, solve mysteries, and defeat the mighty boss lurking in the depths. Conquering dungeons is not only a time-honored tradition of adventures, but it also progresses the main scenario and tests your prowess at a given class or job in a timed environment. Intimidated, fear not, dear adventurer, for with little guidance you too shall be clearing dungeons with confidence in no time. You may challenge a dungeon via two different methods, of calling upon the support of trusty NPCs or by pooling your talent with other players, be they best friends or first acquaintance. No matter how you form your party, the trials that await you will be comparable in difficulty and experience. No matter how independent and capable you may be, a dungeon is too mighty a challenge to overcome on one's own. By choosing duty support when accessing the entrance in the applicable dungeon, you will summon a balanced team of skilled NPCs to support you on your path to glory. Just don't forget them once you're rich and famous, yes? After choosing to challenge a dungeon with NPCs via duty support, a party that perfectly complements your current class or job will automatically be created for you. All that's left is to select register for duty, be battling monsters in no time. They say a burden shared is a burden halved, and with the duty finder you can split that burden amongst a team of players who smolder the same passion for adventure as you do. No need to recruit such teammates yourself. Duty Finder's matching system will automatically group players according to chosen challenges and other criteria, guaranteeing a balanced and invigorating cooperative experience for all. Once you have mid-matched with the party, you will be notified by a bracing sound that time for battle is at hand. Simply select commence, and you and your comrades will be delivered into the fray. Remember, the adventurers with whom you are cooperating are fellow players. Take advantage of the full and varied strengths your group possesses by communicating respectfully and often. As your journey progresses, more and more dungeons will become available until you find yourselves master of a sea of tribulations overcome. But don't let completion deter you from challenging your favorite duties again. Simply open duty support to play through dungeons you've cleared, or use Duty Finder to do the same with dungeons not yet supported by NPC party system. No matter your craving, you're guaranteed to find an adventure to satisfy. While this introduction of dungeons has no doubt been immortalized within the hallowed halls of your mind, if you find yourself in need of a refresher, you may access tutorial information again by selecting the question mark icon in the Duty Support or Duty Finder windows. A true adventurer knows the meaning of duty. Secure your legacy by fulfilling yours. Limit break. Oh, instance raids. Get out of here. Oh, wait. Instance raids come with several rules, including time limits and restrictions on changing classes or jobs. Instance areas can be left at any time by using an exit or selecting leave from the Duty Finder. But by doing so, remember that you will be abandoning your party in the process. Exits will also appear after defeating a raid boss, allowing your party easy access out of the area without having to backtrack. Once a boss has been engaged, players will be unable to enter or leave the immediate area. Make sure that all your party members are nearby and prepared beforehand lest you incur their undying death. If you are KO'd during the instance raid, you may either have a party member raise you or choose to return to the instance entrance. Limit breaks are powerful actions which are only available to parties of 4 or more members. The actions can be executed when the party's limit gauge is full. The gauge is located directly above the party list. Limit gauge will slowly fill as battle progresses, while certain acts of heroism, such as curing an ally while they are on the brink of death, or preventing an enemy from using its special attack, will cause the gauge to rise quicker. Limit break trigger is located in Actions and Traits menu of your general hotbar. 5 different types of limit break: single target attack melee, attack to all targets in a straight line ranged, area of effect attack caster, increased party defense tank, and HP restoration healer. Which type is used depends on the class job of the person who initiates the attack. Limit gauge length varies depending on party size and battle type. The more party members you have, the more difficult the foe you face, the more options you will have. Go get it, big man. You'll find a bloodstained scrap of parchment with a message scrawled upon it in faded ink. Captain likes his cabbage green. husband likes his cabbage green. Slowly our spawning grounds show water. Business, who is the Lord of the world, shall supply your souls. The orchestron can be used to change the music in your estate or inn, but only if you have first obtained song rolls. Rolls can be obtained through a variety of means, including synthesis, purchase in shops, and discovery in treasure coffers. After obtaining a roll, use it to add the track to your orchestron list. Accessing an orchestron will open the settings interface. From here, you can listen to any tracks you have registered, as well as select the track play in your estate or apartment. The shared estate background music can only be changed if you have been granted proper authorization. A feature unique to orchestrons in estates and apartments is the ability to register tracks to a playlist. Up to 8 songs can be registered to a playlist, which can then be played in order, shuffled, or a single track can be selected to play on repeat. Playback options for the playlist can be accessed via subcommands or the buttons found at the bottom of the playlist interface. Tracks not listed in the playlist can also be set as estate background music by using the select track option at the bottom of the interface. From the depths of orchestron roll. This is the ferry for the moons that you coming or what? Aye, such a task was on the books. Was mine. I'm afraid that ship has already sailed, friend. Might you be the adventurer who accepted the job of investigating Sestasha? It would seem that ship has not only sailed but now returns to harbor, none the worse for its voyage. A pity we dragged our boots too long on this one. No matter, the wheel will turn and our chance will come. We're right, of course, but there shall be no rest till we have attained our goal, lofty though it may be. Not a wink of sleep, great leader. Our aim, lest you wonder, is to perform such feats of heroism as will earn us a place in the songs of every alehouse in Eorzea. We mean to write a legend which will inspire adventurers as yet unborn to follow our shining example. You have such a goal, large or small, it matters not. Only have a star to reach for and you will reach higher. Purpose can sustain you through times of hardship. Keep your eyes on the prize and all obstacles will be overcome in time. You would not think to stride into battle unclad, would you? Well, goals are as arms and armor for the spirit. Wish you fortune in your endeavors, sir. Back then, are you? With all your limbs and a tale to tell, I wager. Fishbacks. And there I was thinking you'd only have to crack a pirate's skull or 3. 7 hells, you turn your back for 5 bloody minutes and the scaly bastards have set up shop on your bleeding doorstep. Still sounds like you left them in pieces, so I don't suppose they'll be carrying out whatever mischief they was planning, unless they was planning on feeding themselves to the fauna of Sestasha, of course. Any road, all's well that ends well. On behalf of Luminza, I thank you for shedding some light on this mystery. You've lived up to your reputation, and I couldn't ask for no more than that. Now, I bet you're dying for a rest, but just in case you're not, I was wondering if you might be interested in taking on another job. It just so happens that I've had a request from our sister guild in Gridania Sea. Seems the forest folk are in need of a venturer that can get things done. For them to ask for help like this, you can bet the task won't be no skip through a sunny glade. But after the way you dealt with our fishback infestation, I doubt it's anything you can't handle. Give us a shout when you're ready, and I'll lay it out for you. It's a little slow here. Ready to hear about that job then? Like I said, the request comes from our sister guild in Gridania. And that's all I know, but whatever it is you asked to do, I somehow doubt was the trouble for adventurers survived Bedlam in Sestasha. You think you might be interested and you want to have words with Mother Leone, the counterpart in Gridania. Good luck, mate. We'll do that.